I guess to start out, we'll just go straight and simple. So my name is Giancarlo.
Yeah.
I'm one of the co-founders of a company called Blade Filters. I graduated from Schulich in 2019. I was part of BBA, specialized in accounting when I was there. But when I was in second year, myself and two other guys, one other person from Schulich, and another guy from Ryerson, we started this company called Blade Filters. So what it is it's an air filtration company. So when we started back in 2017, we created what's now known as the world's first zero waste carbon air filter, which essentially removes any odors from a room. So we were targeting the cannabis industry primarily at the beginning. So we were doing that for a while, gained a lot of traction in there. And pretty much we've been doing that ever since. And then come when COVID hit, we expanded our product line. We started something called the HEPA carbon air filter. So we saw all these businesses like basically shutting down, losing money, not being able to function now. So we're like, okay, like let's use our knowledge and our resources, because we know air quality is a huge thing. Everybody's walking around with masks. So we're like, okay, like we want to help out. So we used our connections, we used our resources, and we developed this new product which removes 99.97% of any germs or viruses in the air. So now we're pumping those out. We're working with a lot of cool companies, a lot of the school boards lately. Most recent one that we're sending out is to the Peel District School Board. So that's a cool contract that we got recently. And so yeah, we're just pumping these units out, trying to help as many people as we can, while also expanding on the whole carbon filter side. So that's just kind of like a little bit about us and what we're doing. So there's three of us that started it. So it was me, Aiden, who's my age, went to Schulich as well, and then his brother Joe. So Joe's a chemical engineer who went to Ryerson. He's 2 years older than I am. So basically, what happened, Joe, well, he was in school too, trying to cope with the stress of engineering. He loved to grow tropical plants. So being in Canada, wasn't able to grow his tropical plants in the winter because of the lack of light and heat in Canada. So he had to buy something called a growth locker to help him do it. Now, being a student, saw the prices of the growth locker. He's like, holy crap, like I can't afford this. So he's like, you know what? Like, I'm an engineer. I'll build one. And that's exactly what he did. And as he was building one, he saw one of the most expensive aspects was the actual carbon filter, to remove the smells, because you had to replace the entire thing pretty much every year. So he's like, wow, he's like, that's a waste of money, a waste of resources, very, very wasteful process. And then he was talking to one of his buddies at the time who, excuse me, was actually growing cannabis at the time. And he's like, hey, like, is there a different solution for this thing? And he's like, no. He's like, we have to replace the entire thing, like every single time. And he's like, huh. And then he came up in his head. He's like, why isn't there no like just replaceable carbon cartridge where instead of taking the entire thing, you just replace the carbon if that's the only piece that really needs to be changed? So he thought of the idea, came to his brother Aiden and I, and he's like, hey, this is the idea I have. What are your thoughts? So this was back in 2017, and like we're like, wow, like sounds pretty good. We're like, give us some time. Let's do some market research on it. And from there, we determined that the solution of a replaceable carbon cartridge was something that people would actually love to see in the industry, something that people would actually are willing to pay a premium for in the industry to have. So we said, you know what, like let's do it, and we hit the ground running ever since. So I would say it's kind of a mixed bag. So on one side, the carbon filter side of the company uh, definitely impacted there, I would say negatively, just because a lot of the projects we were working on and the like big projects that we had anticipated for 2020 basically took a halt, just because a lot of the facilities that we were working with had to either like close down, or they were cutting their funding. They were cutting down their employees. So therefore the big construction projects that we were supposed to be a part of are getting pushed back. They keep getting delayed. And like I said, people losing their jobs. So it's all about just like them trying to balance and see priorities. So at the time when all this started, that side of the business was winding down a little bit, slowing down just because like projects were getting pushed out. So on that side, it wasn't too great. However, with the HEPA side now, this new innovation that we created, it's been nothing but amazing so far. It's kept us probably busier than we've ever been. So now I never would have thought that I would have been in the cannabis industry or the air filtration at all. However, I've always had a passion for starting companies and growing them. I've always had that entrepreneurial spark within me. So I always knew that I wanted to do something along those lines. For me, I don't necessarily have that specific passion for, oh yeah, like I always want to get in odor control. Like that's the one thing. Like my passion, like I said, is in starting different companies and helping them scale and helping them build. So on that side, I knew it was something that I definitely always wanted to do, and something that I knew that like we saw the opportunity, and whenever I see an opportunity, always take advantage of it. I honestly think Schulich was very, very accommodating of us starting a company and running it while we're in school. The startup ecosystem there is pretty much like far none. Like I haven't been able to see a different university that's been able to even closely compare to the startup like ecosystem that we have at Schulich. Between the startup nights, the different events that they have, Chris Carter has been an amazing resource at Schulich for the entrepreneurship environment, and the stuff he's doing is crazy because like Joe, who's Aiden's brother, at Ryerson, we were looking at the startup space there, and like they have like the DMZ, that kind of stuff, but it really doesn't compare at all to the stuff going on at Schulich. And just like even the profs, like being very understanding of the stuff we're doing, because like at times we would have certain things going on with the company versus like obviously exams and stuff that we need to obviously study for at school. So we kind of pick our battles that way. However, one point comes to mind. It was one of my classes, and I remember it was early on when we started the company. We had it was like a pitch competition where we were in like the final stage, and it was to win $25,000. And I remember I had a midterm on the same day. So a couple days before the midterm, I went to my prof and I'm like, hey, like this is the situation. Like, what do I do? And he gave me the option to write the midterm at a different time and a different date, to help me accommodate to be able to go to the pitch competition, which we ended up winning. So like on that, in that kind of stuff, I can't see like any other schools like being as accommodating as that. Honestly, just any opportunities you see, just try it, because the worst thing you can do is fail at it. But as long as you keep learning from those failures, it just keeps building blocks. Just keep learning from your mistakes and just go for every opportunity.